So this is one of our shop bestsellers. It's our payday expense and bill pay tracker. And I'm going to do a quick tutorial and walk you through how to use it. So where you're going to start is the pay period setup. This is to set up basically your pay periods, whether weekly, bi-weekly, or even custom. And this thing has changed over time. Initially it was just one income, and now I've got it set up to where it'll take up to 3. So through the tutorial I'm just going to do 2. So we'll do a bi-weekly setup and a weekly, and we'll set them as of this last Friday. We'll pick our first pay date, or your most recent pay date, and that'll kind of set your dates going forward. So we'll say last Friday, 3/28, and we'll do that for both of them, 3/28, and that'll be it for this tab. So you got bi-weekly for income 1 and weekly for income 2. Now on the bill setup tab, you're going to start by filling out your bills, so you can put a brief description in here. You don't need a ton of detail. And then select the due date of the month. Now if you have a bill such as your mortgage and you want to pay a little bit each pay period, then you can set your full mortgage amount. As an example, we'll do that for bill 11. So we'll type that in. So mortgage, I want to pay that every pay period. I want that to be income. I'll explain this more in a second, but I want that to be income 2. And let's say I've got a $1,200 mortgage a month. What do we set up income 2 as? So if I go back to pay period setup, that's a weekly. So then on bill setup, I'm going to do, hey, I want to pay $300 every week, so every pay period. And that's income 2. And then we'll set in bill number 5 to be income 2. So this selection allows you, as it flows through the pay schedule, which I'll show more in detail in a second, it allows you to choose which incomes are responsible for which bills. And essentially how it works. Then you update your total dues for each bill, and that's it for this tab. So then you're going to get into your pay schedule. So we're going to start in the top left, so it's pay schedule setup. So choose your income. So you get 1 income per tab, and I'll kind of explain more as I go what that means. But we're going to set this tab up for income 1. We're going to choose, we'll start it with this next coming pay period, so 4/11. Now my dates up here change for my pay period. So first one is 4/11 to 4/24. We'll say for every 2 weeks for this income, I make a typical, let's say you bring in $1,200 every 2 weeks. So just your total pay all the way throughout. And then you've got your bills due here. So you'll notice for the ones that are income 2 that are pink, nothing populates in the sheet. Only for the ones that are income 1, because this tab is set up for income 1. So you can see all of the bills. You have visibility, but it doesn't flow through for responsibility. Now as you go through, so let's say you finally get paid and it ended up being 12/28. Let's just throw a number up there. So 12/28. So now cash available is, you plug 12/28 for your checking, and then cash available is what you're going to have left. So it's not active. It kind of is, but not necessarily. It's intended for future. So cash available is from my checking, after I pay my bills, I'm going to have a little over $1,000 left for this pay period. So then as you go through, let's say I spent some money on groceries, and then I paid this bill $35, and now my checking is, let's say, $1,100. So now I'm going to have $950 left after I pay the other 3 bills. And as an example how this works, so let's say I didn't spend any of the money, but I paid the $40, so I paid 40. So that goes to 0, and now this is actually $10.60. So update my checking balance. So it stayed $950. That didn't change. So the cash available as you pay your bills will not change unless you spend additional money outside of your bill. So you buy groceries or go to the movie theater or whatever you spend, additional expense. But green just tells you that basically as you go through these 6 pay periods, you're safe. You've got enough to cover your bills for each pay period. Now, if I were to, I'm going to take this out. We'll change these back to zeros. So we're backwards. 0, so I'm back to 1,015. Now let's pretend this was closer to, let's say 200. It's a really low number, but it's purposeful. So if I change it to 200 every 2 weeks, I got cash available this one, but now I'm negative. So on these 3 pay periods, or actually 4, I don't have enough cash to pay my bills, to basically cover all the bills that I'm responsible for. So one of the other features in here is that you can shift your bills around if you needed to. So as an example, this one is 15, I don't have enough, so let's say I set this one to 0, so I'm going to override the bill being due this pay period, and I'm going to move it to this one. So now I'm 0, and I'm minus a little less. You're still negative, but that feature simply allows you to shift your bills forward and back as you need to. And then you'll notice as I go down here, so this one's due on the 4th, so if I look for, so let's see, the first one, it was, well, actually I overrode it here, so let's put that back to let's delete that. So if I'm looking for, this is the 4th, so between the 25th and 5/8, 4/25 and 5/8, that bill populates because it's due on the 4th. And that's how all these will work. Now when you get to every pay period, let's see, mortgage, 300, oh, that's income too, so it didn't populate. But the other one, every pay period, 65, so it's just going to automatically populate every pay period, and then you can track and pay it off. Now we'll go to pay schedule number 2. Each tab is identical, but you can set them up for the different pays, or your different income, sorry. So we'll set this one up for income 2. We'll choose the next pay date, which is 4/4. So 4/4 to 4/10, 4/11 to 4/17. These are going to be every week. And the same. So now income 2, so you've got the mortgage you're responsible for, and that's $300 every pay period. And then income 2, so that's bill 5, due on the 13th a month, and that's $30. And that's because this is weekly, you got 6 weeks, it's only showing up in here twice. Now we'll go, I'll do one last show and tell just because. So pay period setup, because this is a little different. So you also have an other, which is a custom. So what that allows me to do is, let's say you get paid on the 1st and 15th of every month. That's like a military or government thing. So you can override typical pay schedule and you can manually plug in what those dates are. Now if I go back to, and it looks like that's first 115, 131, and these dates just simply allow you to select the date you want to start your pay period on. They don't need pay schedule. So if I go back to the pay schedule tab, income 1, I'm going to go to income 3, and I'll set my first pay period that I'm tracking. Let's say we'll do 115. Now you'll notice up here with income 3 being a custom setup, you have to kind of manually control your pay periods a little different. So your pay windows, right? So this says 115, so end dates, give me a flag. End date is less than start date, check row 3 input. So this is row 3 up here, so it's just saying this date is less than this. So I just want to set what this pay period stops at. So 115 to, if I get paid on the 1st of every month, this is actually going to be 131. And then this now sets 2/1, and let's say this is 2/14. And then, so 2/15 to 2, there's 28 days in February this year, so 2/28. 3/1, this will be 3/14, and so forth. And then 3/15, etc. So that's just your first day of your pay period, and you can do that all the way through. Now you'll notice this all says income 1. You got some that say income 2. They're all red because none of them, income 3 isn't responsible for anything. But I can go back to pay period setup. Oh, no, sorry, bill setup. And we'll pick one, we'll say bill 10. This one's now income 3. So if I go back to pay schedule 3, so now income 3 is responsible for that. And because I'm getting paid basically twice a month, it's going to show up every other pay period, or give or take. That's essentially how it works. Real simple. It's quick and easy. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out. Shoot me a message. Thanks for watching.